Hey everyone, this is Captain Steve Roger from Into the Blue TV. And as soon as I feel a little break from this heat, I know that hunting season is upon us. Actually, the first time I ever went hunting, a buddy took me. Wasn't my father or my grandfather. In fact, I took my father on his very first hunt. Well, Academy Sports and Outdoor Stores has everything to gear up for the field for less. Plus, you can shop a wide selection of ammo, shotguns, deer corn, rifle, feeder, game cameras, camo, and more from the brands you trust. Text Hunt24 to 22369 to take $20 off a $100 purchase when you shop hunting supplies at academy.com. Need a hunting license? Pick it up in store while you're shopping.
This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Yet another week here on the Outdoor Drive, episode 274, man. It's almost a 300. That's 26 away for you guys that can't count. This is your boy East Coast Trev, and I'm joined with the madman himself for a banger this week. I'm looking forward to this podcast. How about you, Stevie?
Oh, yeah. Did you do that math ahead of time? You were prepared for that, huh?
No, I used my fingers, toes, and my calculator for this one, buddy.
Yeah, there's no way you did that off cuff.
Yeah, well, you just never know. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. Dumb redneck can be right every once in a while, you see?
The old blind squirrel.
She gets a nut. It's like, a blind horse. You just got to lead her to water. Don't mean she's going to drink.
You know it.
Just the way that life goes. So, no, we have a real good one for you guys. You guys are joining us to listen in on Charlie Farley. If you guys haven't heard of Charlie Farley, probably go and check him out. Probably like him. He's a country rapper. Does some good old music, man. He's been around for a real long time. Somebody I've listened to, and I know Stevie has too. So it'll be fun to kind of tune in with him. But we got to get through the norm of the housekeeping. Season is down to the wire here. We got a couple more days. I almost went out hunting this morning, honestly, and realized that we have the most ridiculous law in the world. I drove to Public, went to go get out of the truck, and realized that Public was closed.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go to private. I was pissed.
It's crazy. It's so dumb.
It is probably closest to the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. They did it to me. They've been doing it for years, where it closes a couple of days early. And I don't know why. Why can't they just extend it to the end of the month?
It blows. I don't know. Some of the stupid laws we have, I can see why it is the way it is. I might not agree with it, and I think it's still dumb, but I guess I could see the logic behind it. I see no logic behind why public land muzzleloader ends a week before private land. Just run them both to the 31st. What is there, like 5 guys out there still muzzleloader hunting on public?
Season? Yeah.
Like, guys are wrapped up. They're done.
Yeah,
It's not getting pounded.
I don't get it.
Whatever.
We're going to take away 6 days from them? Like, really? Like, we're going to make a big difference? It's not even like it's like waterfowl season where you got to change it up for X amount of days that you're given for rest periods. Like, just give it to us, dude.
And to have it closed, not that I think a lot of guys are going to be able to go out Christmas Day because, holiday plans and all that stuff, but like it closes the day before Christmas. So you can't even go out Christmas morning if you wanted to.
Not on public. Well, you could bow hunt, but you just can't muzzle.
Yeah, but I'm talking about muzzle. Just run muzzle to the end of the year.
Yeah,
just let it ride. Let it ride.
Stupid. So I had to finish off the season on private land. It's weird. It's just weird. It is what it is. I don't know. It'll be only a couple more days here. We got tomorrow, Saturday, and the Monday's the 30th. So then we got Tuesday, and then the seasons are over in the northern zone. So it's gone by so fast, dude. It came in quick and it left so quick. I don't know. It's like a flash, dude.
I don't know. I feel like the second half of the season kind of dragged on for me. But I had that downtime there for like, what was it, like a week and a half where I was like tagged out with bucks waiting for muzzleloader. So that week and a half just felt like forever, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get out Saturday, just because I can. And if I get out of work early on New Year's Eve, which I'm not sure if I will, I'm gonna try to get out. So I hunted opening day of archery season, September 15th in the morning, which I never do, but I did this year just for the hell of it. I would like to hunt the last minute of the season because I hunted the first minute of the season. You know what I mean? Like the first minute of the season, I was in the woods, and I'd like to be in the woods the last minute of the season.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Dude, I don't have much grind left in me. Like, I put in some work this year, but after Tuesday, we're going to be dying for it to come back around.
Yeah, we're going to start
9.5 more months for it to start again. So you got to get when the getting's good. You know what I mean?
That's right, man. It is, it's crazy because it just came in a jiffy, and then you blink and it was over. It was just a weird thing with the weather's been weird, the rain, or no rain, and then tons of rain. Like, it's just absolutely nuts. I don't get it. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we have a ice fishing season, and I don't know. I'm just ready to start scouting for the next move, man, for next year, and then it comes into turkey season. I'm already thinking about loads for turkey and turkey calls and this, that, and the other thing. So I don't know. Speaking of killers, you have some killers corners left in the bank, or is everybody kind of grinded out?
Nope, nothing.
Nothing.
Ryan Mack, shout out Ryan Mack. He's still grinding this weekend.
Still grinding.
He posted today. He's getting after it Saturday, so I hope he gets one.
Robbie Nye, you remember Robbie?
Yeah.
He sent me Merry Christmas. With a doe in the bed of the truck. He sent me a message, so I think he was the only one.
You know what? I'd have to check. Did I shout out Ken D, the one he texts us?
I don't think so.
I might have missed that. Well, congrats, Ken D, if we didn't get you before, we got you now, buddy. Sometimes you get jammed up because I check the Facebook page, you know, and I make a list, but then when they get text in or messaged in, I space out and I forget to add it to the list.
There's a bunch on Instagram, too.
I don't check my list twice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not Santa?
Nah, I don't check my list twice. But, no, dude, it's been fun. I've been having fun with the muzzleloader the last couple of weeks. I had a couple of good hunts. I actually got to hunt in the snow a little bit, which I never get to do. It wasn't much snow, but I got on a buck and tracked him for quite some time, and I just ran out of dirt. Man, he ran on the private and had to pull the plug on that. And then I had a little misfire with the muzzleloader Christmas morning. Man, I was so mad. Thank God it wasn't a buck. It was just a big old nanny doe. But yeah, the old squibby dibby and just lesson learned.
The great thing of muzzleloader hunting, buddy. That's a great thing of muzzleloader hunting.
Lesson learned. But
tomorrow's my last hunt, so I loaded out the pellets and the bullet, cleaned it out, made sure she was ideally clean, no moisture, just for that reason, dude. Because you never know what's gonna happen. Like, moisture is not your friend, and it's coming from. We used to have inlines, and it would have like the breech plug was in like maybe 6 inches, and it was like a bolt action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like where a bolt action would be. And we would run number 9 primers, and you'd have to run real hot ones. And there was times I was talking about this yesterday actually at Christmas, and you would like be in a tree and it be snowing or whatever, and you'd pull up on a deer and you'd shoot and you just hear. Then you'd have to like fish out your knife and pop it off the nipple, and then it would go back. Then you put the nipple back on and you'd shoot. but you would always hold for 5 or 10 seconds because sometimes you would you'd shoot, and then 5 seconds later,
Boom, yeah, like a squib. Dude, I think that's what happened to me the other day. Like, my powder must have got wet. I don't know if it got wet from the snow or from the hunt before, or if it was condensation from the muzzleloader, like being out in the cold and then warming up in the truck and then going back out in the cold. But like that's exactly what it did. I pulled the trigger, the primer went off, and then it was like the powder like took extra long to burn, so it was just sizzling in there, and all of a sudden it was like poof, and this like flaming fireball comes out the end of the barrel. It goes like 10 yards just flying through the air, and I just see this fireball hit the leaves like 10 yards in front of me. Smoke everywhere, deer running everywhere, no blood, nothing's hit. I probably just lobbed that slug like 25 yards. Had to go over there and make sure the leaves weren't on fire. It was a shit show, dude. I was kept laughing. I was kind of upset, but I didn't care. You know what I mean? But I was like, what in the hell just happened?
The joys of
and I was pissed, dude. It was Christmas morning. I was wearing a Santa Claus hat. Like, I wanted to kill a doe on Christmas morning wearing my Santa Claus hat so bad, and just wet powder, man.
That's what happens. I'm a snob when it comes to that. Like, there's a roll of electrical tape in my pocket. Over the breech, like where the breech goes, and once I close my gun and put it in, I put one over the breech to kind of lock everything in, over the muzzle. Like, I'm just a fucking weirdo when it comes to that, man, because you never know. You don't want any moisture, especially, when you're in the snow, the rain, whatever. Just heaven forbid you hit a branch and then water goes in there. I don't know. I'm just a weirdo when it comes to that because I just don't want any problems. Like you only get so many shots, and you want to make sure that everyone is absolutely perfect. So, but it's fun. I love the muzzleloader, man. It's just, I've had a lot of fun with it. I shot my buck this year with a muzzleloader. I hunt public land. Shotgun with my muzzleloader. I love it. I really do. CVA makes a really good gun. I don't shoot nothing expensive. I just shoot the Wolf. I mean, it's a $300-$400. It's a compact little gun. Yeah. It's a 100-yard gun. I mean, it's I love it, dude. I love it. I upgraded my optics on it and I just hunt it, dude. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna upgrade this year. I thought about building another gun, but you know what? It's for what it is, dude. For what we hunt and what we do, it's an ideal gun. It's got a little bit shorter of a barrel, right? So it's not as far, but dude, I mean, it does everything that we need to do here in New England. Like, you don't need anything better. I might get a Magnum just to be able to shoot a little bit farther and, maybe for something different. But
yeah, I thought about that too, but not even for distance, just for bullet drop. Even if I keep it inside 100 yards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, dude, I thought about the same thing. Like, I was eyeballing new muzzleloaders because I'm hunting with the Wolf too, but I'm like, dude, I muzzleloader hunt like 4 days a year.
Yeah.
That's like, why I can't see myself spending more than $300 on a muzzleloader.
So that's kind of why I was like, I hunt with it a lot. Like, I use it a lot, and that's the only reason that I would get a really nice one is because I hunt public land shotgun.
A nice shotgun.
No, I love the muzzleloader. It's just fun. I mean, it's once you get it dialed in and you know, like, dude. It's I don't know.
Never would I do that during shotgun season.
Well, to have a nice one, like, I don't know. I have no problems with it, dude. I mean, I don't see there being any reason. I mean, like, it does everything that it needs to do. I don't know. I just...
Dude, that would drive me nuts. Dude, first of all, actually, I was thinking about this today. I love hunting in the rain. That's what I was going to talk to you about earlier today, right? So, like, you know how... like, we talked to all these people, like, all over the place, like Adirondack trackers and the Big Wood Bucks guys, and, like, they're all, like, big snow trackers, and, like, it's, like, romanticized, right? Like, man, it's so awesome. And I wish we got more snow to be able to track. Mm-hmm. But, like, I'm looking back on it, like, I don't get a lot of snow down in the southeast corner during like gun season, right? But dude, give me a rainy day. I love hunting in the rain. Like during gun season, right? Dude, there's no way I'm doing that in the muzzleloader the way I hunt in the like. I'm talking downpours.
So that's where sealing it off with the, you take a rubber glove, right? So you take a rubber glove, the pinky
Yeah,
of
I don't
rubber
got
glove,
time
and you
for all
put it
that,
over
bro.
it and wrap it. It takes 2 seconds.
No way.
2 seconds.
Not doing it.
Done it a million times. Never had a
Muzzleloader
problem.
season's for muzzleloader season. Shotguns are for shotgun season, baby. Let's go.
Nah, it's nice. I'm telling you, like, if then you have one gun that you've used throughout the entire season and you know how it functions, you know how it works. I don't know. It's just, I enjoy it, dude. I really honestly enjoy it. It's just fun. I don't know. When you have a nice gun, you don't have to worry about it, I guess. I mean, you just know the motions of the gun, and it's one shot.
Nice shotgun. Shooting slugs.
Yeah,
Bolt and a reload that can get wet.
Yeah.
You can drag it through the mud.
I can do the same with my muzzleloader.
Cleaning the barrel and like they're no way, buddy. I want to run it hard and put it away wet.
You just
know it's going off tomorrow morning.
You take care of it. You clean it every night.
I don't have time for that, dude. I'm hunting every day. Like I don't have time to baby my gun like that. Worrying about if my powder's wet or my primer this or that. No. Pocket full of shotgun shells and let's get to work.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same thing with it. You just put the motions in, and that's
never.
It's easy. It's easy. So, well, let's get through the this and let's get Charlie Farley on, man. I know they probably don't want to hear us talk. They came here to listen to him. So, first off, Bowtech refused to follow. If you guys haven't shot a Bowtech yet, probably go and do that. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive with any of the local shops here. If you're buying a new Bowtech, make sure to use that, and you can get yourself a lucky new case, a really nice case at that. Also, check out, while you're checking out the Bowtech, center mass, stabilizers, black gold sights, QAD.
QAD.
Yeah, QAD. No, don't check out QAD. Ripcord. Ripcord or QAD. Whatever, any rest that you like. Integratable rest, that's what we like to see with the Bowtech symbol on it. Latitude Outdoors, latitudeoutdoors.com. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive on that one.
I got to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Killer's Corner. Caleb shot 2 does today.
Oh, he did?
Just texted me right before the podcast. I forgot about it.
Oh, Jesus.
Get mollywopped him.
Get mollywopped him. Latitude Outdoors. Make sure you use promo code Outdoor Drive on that one for you guys getting into the whole mobile hunting scene, or you want to upgrade your stuff to the best in the industry. Definitely use the promo code. You'll save a lot of money. I promise you that. Working Class Bowhunter, WCB, workingclassbowhunter.com. You can use the promo code Outdoor Drive there too. Save on some merch, some really cool hats, t-shirts, whatever else they got going on. Make sure to get on over there and get some cool stuff. Whether it's a squirrel patch or whatever it is, go shoot your bow. Any of the really cool things that they got over at Working Class. Also tune in their podcast. They are the brothers that we follow behind.
Fun fact.
Yep.
Did you know that a bottle of Kill Bottle whiskey fits in the water bottle holder of a Latitude backpack?
No.
Can confirm.
That's good. That's good to know.
Just in case anyone wants to know, you can put 2 bottles of whiskey on each side of your Latitude Ranger backpack.
That's good to know. It's funny so I have a Kill bottle here in the studio, and it was sitting in the sun, and Straya goes, "Hey, do you want to put that out on the liquor shelf?" I said, "No, that's not for the drinking type. That's for certain things. But if you guys want to check out Kill Bottle whiskey too, you can get it over at Working Class Bowhunter. Huntworthgear.com. We are all bundled up in our heat boost. If you guys haven't gotten any heat boost, make sure to check those guys out as far as that goes, because this cold season, I mean, tomorrow's going to be 13 degrees. I'm going to be wrapped up in some heat boost. But you got to be careful when it comes to heat boost, huh, Stevie? You can't walk far in heat boost. That's one of the things about it. Fourth Arrow, fourtharrowcameraarms.com. You can go and check those guys out, especially with turkey season right around the corner. Some of the best tripods in the filming business. And then Saddies, if you guys haven't gotten over their website and designed yours, or put in your order for your Saturdays, probably a good time to start thinking about it, honestly. Turkey season is not far away. He gets super busy. Beautiful website now. I went on there and inquired about getting my shot shells for turkey season this past weekend. So real easy to use. Just go there, you sign up, tell them kind of what you got going on, and then they get back to you, and then you get your shells. So really cool, great website. Go and check those guys out. When the Saudis are flying, the turkeys are dying. So probably some of the best shells on the market, in my opinion. I haven't used anything since it's been 2-3 years now. We've been using their stuff, and it's knockout gold. So go and check out the sponsors. We appreciate you. Go and like us on Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, TikTok, iHeartRadio, wherever, anywhere, Spotify. Give us a 5-star review on Apple. We'd appreciate it. And then you can always go check out and grab some merch over at theoutdoordrive.com. So we appreciate all you guys. Stevie, you got any notes that you got to share with the boys before we bring on Charlie, or what?
No, I'll think of it after.
No fun facts.
Really, no. You should get a muzzleloader shotgun for turkey season.
Oh my God, Steve, we're over the muzzleloader thing.
I think you should do it.
I did. I thought about like hand loading my own for it and try and kill one with the muzzleloader, but maybe I will.
Bite the wad and spit on that thing.
Maybe I'll do like a spit on that thing. Maybe I'll do like a flintlock turkey or something.
Yeah, I'll watch.
I don't get
I'll back you up with the pump.
My luck, the thing's gonna blow up in my face. But anyways, it's all good, guys. Let's get Charlie Farley on. The Outdoor Drive Podcast. All right, guys, we're back on the line with Charlie Farley. I'm glad that this thing's working. We got everything fired up. He had joined us not too long ago, but he was in deer camp slinging arrows and stuff. So what's up, Charlie? How are you, man?
Oh man, I've been doing great. How y'all been?
Oh, good. We're better now that we're here tonight with you, man. We got this thing underway, and
I want to apologize live here to y'all so we set this up. I don't know, what was it, about a month and a half ago, something like that?
Yeah, middle of deer season.
I was out at the cabin deer hunting, and I just assumed I was going to have enough service to do this. We was lagging, and it was like and so now we're back. Thank y'all for giving me another chance.
You know it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Charlie, why don't we put this thing right in 4-wheel drive, man? Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do?
I'm Charlie Farley from Southwest Arkansas. I'm an artist, entertainer, musician. I write songs. I write songs for myself, for other people, record and perform them all over the place. I'm big into hunting and fishing. Obviously, it's kind of what the majority of my music is. Maybe not about hunting and fishing in particular, but about the lifestyle that involves everything that is country. Like 99% of my songs talk about some type of outdoor activity because just that's all I know.
Did you start at a young age in it? Is it just a lifestyle that you had obtained at a really young age?
As far as
like outdoors?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad actually wanted to name me Buck, literally. That ended up being my first nickname growing up because that's how big into hunting my dad was. Now, he wasn't a fisherman at all, and I'm a big bass fisherman, and he gave me a whole lot of heck about bass fishing. But he literally wanted to name me Buck because that's just how much he loved hunting. And my mom's like, ain't no way we're naming my son Buck.
Where does your style come from? Because your lyrics are definitely, about that lifestyle, but you got a little different flavor. So where do you get that?
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit Shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
From
Right. Growing up and listening to literally every genre of music known to man, I've always, I'm not like a huge fan of any artist, but I am a really big fan of songs. So I might not be able to tell you who sings a song, but if I hear a song that comes on, I'll know the lyrics before I know the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And just growing up listening to, my dad loved Kid Rock and all like Hank Williams, Junior, Senior, all the old greats. And then my stepdad was more into like Tupac, Snoop Dogg, all that. And he liked a lot of like AC/DC and those rock bands from back in the day. And so I just had this big, and I come in, I was at the age where everybody was burning CDs and putting everything on one CD. And so I just grew up listening to all kinds of different music. And then when I started writing, it just kind of was like I don't know, it's kind of like everything I listened to, just, it was like you just put it in a big pot and stir it up. Every now and then you get a country song, and you get a rap song, you get a mix of both, you get a little rock, and that's just kind of what made my style, I think, being open-minded when I was younger and listening to every style of music.
Where did it really start for you to become a singer-songwriter?
I really have a lot different story than most artists, because I didn't grow up knowing, hey, I'm going to be a musician whenever I get older. Actually, I started writing poetry when I was in about the 6th grade, I guess. So my sister had passed away, and they sent me to a counselor, and she wanted me to release balloons and all this stuff. And I told my mom, I was like, I'm not going anymore. This is freaking crazy. So they told me to write down what I was feeling. And so I started writing down stuff, and that turned into poetry. Well, then by the time I graduated high school, the poems had turned into songs. And then it wasn't until I was about 22 or 23 before I went to the studio for the first time. And I still had no idea. Man, I'm from Southwest Arkansas. Nobody makes a living with music in Southwest Arkansas. So I had no idea how to get anywhere with it. I found a producer that was producing Colt Ford and Nappy Roots and Bubba Sparxxx and a lot of those guys that I liked because they talked about the lifestyle that I was living. They had some of the instruments that I was used to. Reached out to them as 5-star. And I was in my 2nd semester of college. I was going to be a forester. And I'll never forget, I got the email back from Jay from 5-star. He was living in Atlanta at the time. He's living in Nashville now. And he said, if you come to Atlanta, we'll cut a record, and then I'll send you to Nashville to get a record deal. Now, I didn't know this man at all. I literally just found him online and messaged him, and we had emailed back and forth a little bit, and I sent him some of my songs. He sent me demos. I demoed them out and sent them back, and that's when he sent me that email. I was in my it's like a science class of some kind in college whenever I got that email, and I got up and walked out, and I never went back to college. But here's the wild thing. Me and my wife at the time had one vehicle, and I drove to Atlanta, Georgia in the one vehicle we had, and I pulled up to this freaking mansion, and whenever I got there, it's got the cameras outside, and I mean, it was super fancy, and I go in, and I'm like, I'm glad you're not a serial killer, buddy, because you could have totally got me. I was just literally you talking about taking a chance. Like, I guess we both did looking back at it, but I definitely took a chance. Just walked out of college like, okay, this is what I'm doing. So yeah, that's my story. That's how I got started. So that's why I say my story is probably a lot different than most artists, because a lot of people, they start playing from a very young age to get, by the time they're 21, 22, they're like full blown into music. I didn't even really get started till I was like 24 or something.
Wow, that's crazy. And to just walk out of class like that, like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Did you even like you're just gonna give it a shot? What if it didn't work? Like, what if you went there and the guy's fake, or what? I mean, like, what was going through your head at that moment? I mean, that's a pretty crazy moment.
I think for me, and this might be crazy, probably is, but I always I go with what my gut feels is right, and I rarely second guess my gut. Normally, when I have, it's been wrong. But something just told me that's what I needed to do, and I just did it. Man, I don't know how else to say. I just trusted God's plan, and that's how it went.
I mean, I think in life itself, like you need to trust yourself and do that. Like what, like could you, hindsight being 2020, right? Like what if you didn't take that chance? And what if, like you don't want to know down the road that could have been that deal. That could have been, you just take that chance and you just kind of ride the wave as it goes. Like anything that you do in life, like why miss out on that chance?
Oh, absolutely.
You can't miss out on it. It's one of those things, like if you didn't take that and you didn't go and do it, then what? You'd be a forester at this point, right? And you'd be driving in your truck and be like, oh, this sucks. I hate my job. I hate my life. I can't believe
right. I wish I would have went to Atlanta that time. Ain't no telling what I could have did.
What was like that moment for you that it was like that not starstruck time, but like that point in your life where you're like, oh my God, I made it. Like I did it. Like I did everything that I wanted to do and achieve in this.
I still don't think that I have made it per se. I think I look at made it a way different than most folks, because I'm always a bigger picture, I guess. I always said when I sell out my first stadium, that's when I know I made it. I ain't sold out a stadium yet, so I don't feel like I'm there, but I am very blessed and grateful for all the opportunities. And man, I've come a long friggin' ways, and so most people don't even have the opportunities to be able to do the things that I have and meet the people that I've met, and I'm very blessed. But to say that I've made it, not yet. Let me get Jelly Roll status, and then we'll talk about it.
I think we all want Jelly Roll status. Let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
That man, it's a whole different story.
I'm just trying to make enough money to disappear. You know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to do.
When you have a million acre ranch and you're inviting all your boys down to come deer hunt, and then you can say you made it, right?
That's right. I actually got about 2,000 acres that I want to get one of these. That's my dream, is to own all the land that we lease. That way I can, I don't have to worry about somebody coming in and buying it from under us,
Yeah. So has being being an artist, has that led into any outdoor things? Like has it transpired because that's like your lifestyle? Have you met people and done cool things because in the outdoors because of all this?
I have most recently. I got to go to Whitetail Heaven Outfitters in Kentucky, hunted with them boys. We had a really good time. And that was all because of Nick Wallace, who owns No Lil Chucky Smoke. and I met him because I went to Tennessee in the spring and turkey hunted. Oh my God, I'm blanking. Appalachian Custom Calls. They invited me up in the spring to turkey hunt in Tennessee this past spring, and I met Nick while I was there, and then Nick invited me up to Whitetail Heaven in Kentucky, and so it's been really cool. I also got to go to South Carolina and hunt with my buddy Bottleneck this year at a little. It wasn't really like a ranch. I don't know what you would call it, but it was like an outfit, I guess, a guide service, and I mean. Yeah, so just here alone, there's been 3 different trips that I've got to take because of music, and got to meet a bunch of really cool people and do some really. Now I still, was talking about my deer hunting prior to us going live, and even though I've been all those places, I still ain't killed a friggin' deer. I'm telling you, it's like everywhere I went. Anthrax. People, it wasn't no deer anywhere.
They're like, we ain't having Charlie Farley come back here ever again. This boy can't shoot nothing.
I promise, because when they was showing me pictures there, they know what bucks are where at these stands, and they showed me pictures of one there in Kentucky that was coming in, and it was every bit of 170. Like that was on the low end, and I'm like. Yeah, and they acting like that's just a normal day, I'm like, boys, I'm liable to fall out the stand. This thing walk out on me.
Is that not a normal thing for you where you're from?
No. I mean, my brother's killed a 173, and then his son killed a 162 and a 150. My son's killed a 150. But the biggest one I've ever killed is a 143 8-point.
Well,
now, I could have killed the buck my son killed, but, I really wanted us to experience him shooting it with me with him. And he wasn't but 10 years old at the time. And that's a memory that, I'm glad I didn't kill it. Even though it would have been my biggest buck, and he still gives me hell about it to this day. He will not let me live that down. But I'm glad that I did it, man, because that's a memory that you just can't put a price tag on that kind of stuff,
No, absolutely not. And so paint the picture. Like, what is the hunting like where you're at? Like what's it like?
So Weyerhaeuser owns the majority of the land. I don't know if you'll have a Weyerhaeuser where you're at, but Weyerhaeuser owns the majority of the land. It's generally pine plantations. So it's at different stages on our lease. So some of it's first thinned. Some of it's a freaking jungle, and some of it's even clear cuts. There's a lot more growed up mess than there is anything open, though. On the west side of our lease, however, the river runs up the west side of our lease, and the Corps, they own like, I don't know, probably like a 1/4-mile strip on each side of the lake, and they still have virgin timber on there, so it's all big hardwood, so there's tons of acorns there. But a normal deer for a rat, like on our lease, in between 110 to 140, but we do have some over 140. But yeah, that's about it.
It's so the food source is the acorns.
Oh yeah, that or whatever whatever you plant, which I ain't been good about planting, but me and my best friend decided that because our turkeys have been going to the river, and they'll be over at the river in the spring. Well, people can come in and hunt that on the backside because it's core. So we're gonna have to put the food plots in the in the middle of the lease to draw them turkeys back over on us come turkey season. So I guess we're gonna start planting food plots in the spring.
Oh, because then they can hunt on the backside, and then they're gonna kill all your turkeys.
Right. And it ain't like we got a ton. I promise you.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about, we used to, when I was a kid, you go up there and hear 20 or 30 any day. But now, man, you might go up there, you might hear 8 or 9. That's on a really good day. But normally when they fly down, they shut up. And I don't know has anybody figured out what's going on with the turkeys? Because I seem like that's a deal everywhere. I know I went to the Mark Twain National Forest for several years, and the first year I went, it was phenomenal, and it seemed like every year after that, it just started getting to where they was turning into our birds down here and just acting funny.
So that's kind of, I mean, like, so here for us up in, in New England, the Northeast, I mean, like, we had a ton of turkeys growing up, like you did, right? Like, tons of birds.
Right.
And then we started to get, like, we got fisher cats and bobcats. And then the other thing that I feel is, like, adds to the factor is, like, trapping fur is not worth as much now than it was back then, where there's not a lot of people trapping the ground animals because they're ground nesters, right? So raccoons, stuff like that is not getting trapped. Opossums, and they're killing off those hatches. That's my personal opinion. I don't know how it is for you as far as predators go, but
yeah, I think there's definitely something to that, because whenever we started leasing, so growing up, it was just Weyerhaeuser owned it, but they didn't lease it. You could just, everybody could hunt wherever. And there was always a ton of trappers up where we was at. Always. Well, whenever we leased it, the guys that trapped didn't want to get on. And so now there was nobody trapping anything. And the only reason we started getting turkeys back a little bit was because my brother and my best friend started trapping it was like 6 years ago, I think. They trapped for 2 years. And after that 2 years, we noticed that we started getting more turkeys. So there's definitely something to that.
What is some of the predators that you're faced with there? Like do you have the bobcats and stuff, or?
Oh yeah, bobcats and coyotes. That tons of bobcats. I've seen more bobcats this year while deer hunting than I ever have up there. One morning, me and my daughter was hunting earlier this year, and I seen 3 different cats. I ain't never, like, normally I don't see 3 cats all year up there. So I actually texted my buddy, and I was like, we're going to have to find somebody to trap if we ain't going to do it, because we can't have this many up here.
And they're brutal. I mean, like, we just started getting them here in the past, what do you say, Steve, 5-10 years, maybe, and like they've just come back full flourished. Like when you're coyote, and we can't kill them. When you're coyote trapping, we get weekly. I'll get them in the coyote traps, like, and they're brutal, dude. They take down fawns. They're, you're out turkey hunting, and you're sitting there, and you can watch them sneaking in on you. People getting attacked, but I mean, they're brutal. They're brutal.
And y'all can't kill them?
No, not right now.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, they can in mass. So right over the border, you can hunt them and trap them. They allow you a handful of them, but we can't right now. They've been doing studies on them and this, that, and the other thing, and they won't let us trap them. And it's going to become to the point where it's going to get so bad that they're going to have to, right? I mean, like, but our turkey population is taking such a hit. And the other thing, Charlie, that they do here is we're allowed to kill 5 turkeys.
Good Lord.
In the spring. So they just demolished what we had for a turkey population here. I mean, it's just bad,
Yeah, that's a lot of birds. Even back when we had a ton of birds, it wasn't but 2.
Yeah.
I think it's still 2 now. Like, I've only hunted around home 1 or 2 times in the last few years because of just how few turkeys there are. I've been to Missouri several times, Tennessee. Me and my boy went to Kansas turkey hunting. And Kansas is a whole different animal for turkey hunting. I wasn't ready for that terrain up there. Whenever you're trying to hunt a bird that can see you for 12 miles across there, it was just very different. It was challenging, to say the least. I did get one to come up close enough that I could hear him drumming, but we just couldn't close the deal on him.
They say Kansas is insane with the amount of birds, but. Because of the flatness,
and they're huge, man. They look like friggin' emus. I ain't even kidding.
Is it just because it's so flat, like you can't use the terrain to get after them? Is that what it is?
Well, and it's not. Well, it ain't that it's where we was hunting at anyway wasn't all that flat, but it was wide open, and there would be like, so you'd have all this open fields, and then there'd be a strip of woods. And the one thing I thought was really crazy is the wind blew the entire time we was there, so like trying to roost one was almost impossible. We just get up in the morning. We have no idea. You just going in blind up there whenever you go for the first time. And we go up there and we're trying to hear one in the morning. The wind's blowing 100 mile an hour, and I got one to gobble in front of us. And so I got set up where I thought this might be a good spot to, get him to fly down and come to us. And then whenever he flew down, he gobbled. And the next time he gobbled, he was 3/4 of a mile down the little wood line. And I'm like, good Lord. And next time, like, he gobbled, I could barely hear him. But I guess they have to travel so far to get to whatever food source or whatever it is they're after. Them suckers, they will go a distance.
It's because there's so much, it's vast land, right? I mean, like, and can't they bait them down there? Kansas?
I don't know.
Because I thought
I wish I'd have known if they could, because I would have tried it.
make the food source,
Yeah.
Bring them right to you. Because I know,
absolutely,
like Florida, you can bait them in Florida. The Osceolas, those guys, they hunt them over bait. You got to be 100 yards from the feeder, and they call them off the feeder.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know. That'd be weird. We're going to set up by the feeder like we was deer hunting.
Yeah, I mean, we do that kind of. We just call them off the old lady's yard down the road. She got a bird feeder, and we call them right out there in the public, and we shoot them. It's the same thing.
Right? Yeah.
What's the difference? Is it
cheaper?
It's cheaper
when the old lady feeds them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's way
right?
cheaper. Yep. So is turkey hunting like your favorite, or you like deer hunting better?
I tell you what, whenever the turkeys are right and they're gobbling and they coming to you and everything's good, there ain't nothing else I'd rather do. I mean, and I love bass fishing as much as anything, but when the turkey hunting's right, I'd rather turkey hunt than anything else.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When you think of Arkansas, you think of waterfowl hunting. You don't think about turkey hunting or deer hunting.
That's one thing that I don't do is duck hunt. I don't know why. My dad was never into it. My dad was a quadriplegic, so it ain't like he could take us. He wouldn't if he could have because he wasn't a duck hunter. But the only kind of duck hunting we did growing up was sneaking over pond dams, and whenever they fly up, we shoot them. But I never got into it. I got a lot of buddies that do. They love it, and they spend a ton of time and money on it, but it's just not something I've ever wanted to do.
I mean, you're in the waterfowl capital of the world, they say, is Arkansas. I mean, it's that's what everybody does down there.
I'm also a country boy that raps, so I guess doing I guess being different is what I am.
Do you catch a lot of what's your feedback? Like, obviously you have supporters, but what kind of you get shit for it too, or is it?
Oh my God, it is. Man, literally this morning I made a remix to a rap song, but it was just I was rapping, but I was rapping about the country stuff we did. I just remixed the rap song and I put it up on SoundCloud. It wasn't something I was officially releasing. It was just a remix. I put it up there and somebody commented on it, and I seen it this morning. It's like real original and some expletives, and I'm like, well, it's a remix, and that's kind of like standard in hip hop, but whatever. You deal with that almost daily. There's going to be somebody, you got to learn how to get thick skin really quick in the music industry, unless you're just, trying to kiss ass and ride coattails, then you ain't got to. But if you're trying to just be yourself, then there are going to be people that do not like it for whatever reason.
Especially with the crossover, right? And one of the main reasons why I'm such a fan is because I consider myself a crossover, right? And like Trev can attest to this. Like, you should see the heads that roll. Like, we'll show up at an outdoor expo, like we're working a booth, and everybody's walking around. Everyone's got their flannel shirts on and the square toe boots because they're trying to look the part,
Uh-huh.
And I'm wearing Jordans and a hoodie and and people like, you can't do that. Why can't I? Like, I like Jordans and I'm going to wear sneakers and my feet are comfortable and that's who I am. Like,
Right.
does that mean I'm less of a deer hunter because I like nice sneakers?
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's
I
not.
promise you, them sneakers is probably a whole heck of a lot more comfortable walking around on them floors at that expo than them boots would be.
Exactly, but like, it's amazing. And thick skinned, I don't let it bother me, but it is
Right.
amazing the judgment you get when people look you up and down. Like, who do you think you are? Like, you're just some,
Right.
and it's like, dude, I can talk the talk and I can walk the walk, even in my J's. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't put on some pair of boots just to show you who I am.
Right. Yep. No, I get that completely.
It's I mean, they try to make you fit a mold, right? Like, you got to fit some type of certain mold to do what they do, right? Like, you can't pave your own road, like, especially in the outdoor.
Right.
In the outdoor world, I mean, like it's it's one way or no way. Like, there's no cussing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that way or no way, man. And like, we try to pave that own road. Like, we try and do what we feel comfortable. Like, we want to be us, and it's just in the same sense of you. I mean, like, you're not a rapper, but you're not a, you know what I'm saying? Like, you paving your own road too.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to be. Just be yourself, and the people that's going to love you are supposed to, and the people that don't ain't.
It's it's people that like, when we go to like we got sponsors and stuff, and like, it's a little abrasive at first, right? They're like, oh, you guys are a little rough on the edge and whatever, but we relate to a different group of people that normal people don't relate to. You know what I'm saying? And we get them in the sport,
Right.
and they do their thing, and it's probably the same for you, Charlie. Like, you, it's a love-hate kind of thing when it comes to country rap, but.
I tell people all the time, you're either going to love me or hate me, but that's just how it is. But you know what? I think when you're true to who you are, that's how it's supposed to be, because ain't everybody supposed to be for everybody, So I don't worry about it. I just do me and let the chips fall where they may.
I think when people try get away from their true self and try to fit a mold or fit an image or try to do it the way they think you're supposed to do it, that's where you get in trouble. Because now you have to remember, like, who am I supposed to be right now and who you really are. Well, if you just.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
Always are yourself.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Right? You just stay being you, and you can never go wrong. If it don't work, it don't work. But you know what? I'm still me.
Right. Yep.
Because if you try and like making a lot of these guys that you see throughout the outdoor industry in itself, they try to be something bigger and better than what they actually are, and they stumble over the problems quickly. You know what I'm saying? And it's probably the same in the music industry. I could only imagine that where like guys think that they're better than what they actually are or whatever, and they get caught up in some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's a lot of that. There's a whole lot of egos in the music industry.
What is some of it that happens through to you, like as far as like stuff like that? Do you get jammed up with people like that?
I've always have, because of the fact that I don't ride coattails. I stay true to myself, and I've never asked anybody for a handout. A lot of people feel a certain type of way about that just because they feel like they've got a network and be buddies with folks to get whatever. And I've definitely I've lost out on opportunities because of it, and I've kind of been there's definitely been show opportunities and different things like that that I ain't got to, be a part of or do, just because of the ego thing that goes on. Because I have zero ego, and anybody that ever tries to get to know me likes me because I don't know, I'm just a normal ass person. But if people don't know me or haven't been around me, and I don't know. There's a lot of egos in the country rap, whatever. In the music industry in general, there's just a ton of egos, and a lot of people that try to swing their what around and play big dog and all that. So
it's probably frustrating.
Have you ever planned a gig or turned down a gig or any kind of coordination around hunting season or hunting trip?
Yep.
Took him 2 seconds to answer that.
Actually, and I rubbed when I first getting started in the music industry, there was a guy a booking agent that was booking shows for the label I was with at the time, and he wanted me to do a show, or he had already set his whole thing up. I was supposed to open for somebody. And he called me and said, I've got this set up. I need you to be here on this date. And it wasn't but like a week and a half away, and it was already deer season. I'm like, hey, bro, I ain't going to make it. And he's like, do what? I'm like, man, you should have told me about this a while ago because I'm going to be hunting. And I didn't go. And me and that guy never worked together since. So I've definitely missed out on opportunities. But it don't matter. My old manager, she used to text me when it was deer season. She'd text me, because we talked every day, and she'd text me, when you get out of your stand, please call.
She knew right damn well where you were at.
Yeah, she knew. That first year that we was working together, she didn't, and she'd be trying to call, and I just keep hitting decline on text. I'm in my tree stand, call you when I get done.
Well, at least your priorities are straight, I guess, right?
That's right.
You need some tour dates in the spring, and you can do a little turkey tour in between shows. Each state you go to a show, kill a turkey in the morning, on to the next one.
Right. Well, I actually have a date in Kentucky coming up, and I'm never turkey hunted in Kentucky. And it's at Gregory Lake in Drakesboro, Kentucky. And they own a bunch of land there, and I'm really good friends with the owner of the park. And they booked me for the entire weekend so that I could hunt while I was there.
Awesome.
I thought that was friggin' awesome. I'm like, you gonna book me for Friday and Saturday so I can stay here and hunt? And she's like, oh, yeah. Like, dang.
Perfect.
Well, at least she's thinking about you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking out for me, too.
Yeah. You need to find yourself a lucky horseshoe or something before you get up there, though. If it's anything like your deer season, Charlie.
Gosh, we're gonna just say that it just wasn't meant for me to do much killing this year. And next year's going to be different.
Well, I'll say this. This is one of the things that we got going on here with the podcast. The podcast, we call it the luck of the podcast. When you come on the podcast, after you leave the podcast, it doesn't happen to us, but anybody who leaves the podcast, they either shoot their biggest buck or they just go ham and they kill all kinds of stuff. So let me let you know right now, we're going to pass on that.
Of that.
We just had we do this podcast, The Outdoor Drive, and then we have Tales from the Tailgate, which is like a little bit 30-minute just podcast when you kill a deer or whatever, you kill a turkey, tell a story, like, you know, like say your boy kills one or whatever and just wants to kind of just talk it up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we had this gentleman on. His name is Tim Rickey. We actually just released his tailgate because he had something that happened to him. But he had killed his first deer, and he come on the podcast. Well, after he got off and he did the tails and recorded it with us, he ended up shooting his biggest buck. But it's happened numerous times, dude. Numerous times.
Dang.
Yeah. We call it the luck of the podcast.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Charlie's going to be calling us up.
I might have to go bow hunt now.
I was hoping it was going to rub off on you a little bit that night we had that conversation. You were at camp, so by the time we did record,
well, I imagine what happened there. There wasn't enough luck able to come through the signal, so
all that luck was stuck in the cloud.
Yeah, right.
Trying to come down.
That's
the
why the weather's a jacked there now. It'll be 70 one day and 30 the next. Luck's up there jacking with it.
That's the truth.
Charlie, what do you got? A little giveaway going on over there? Halves on Fish and Trap or Trip?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. You can enter it. The free entry, you can send all the rules and details on my website, but you can send in a postcard with your name and address, and I don't remember what all was on it, and send it to the post office, or any merchandise you buy, get your tickets as well. But what is it? Is it today the 20th?
Yeah,
so it'll be like 11 days. I'm going to be giving away either my boat or 10 grand. Right now it's looking like the 10 grand because we're nowhere near the numbers that we need to be. I don't know. I guess social media don't let like raffle stuff like that get showed much, because anytime I posted it, nobody sees it. And I know everybody wants a chance to win $100,000 boat. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can get a free entry. You know, it's like, so people just ain't seen it. But so it's looking like it's going to be 10 grand at the first of the year. I'll probably do it the day before. But yeah, we're going to give away either the boat or 10 grand. And it's been going on for like 4 or 5 months now. But like I said, people just don't know about it because anytime I post about it, nobody sees it. Nobody.
That's the problem with social media. They like I don't know if they just sheltering us or I don't know what's going on, but anything hunting and fishing related, forget it. It ain't going nowhere. You ain't getting seen. I don't know what it is. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know, it's probably 3 years ago whenever it started for me, as far as my numbers starting to like I don't even know what algorithm, what they did to the algorithm, but I noticed a significant drop, and then it didn't matter what I did, it never got back to where it was. And I don't know, I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, it's frustrating because like guys like us, and yourself, like we're trying to push a brand, and what we got going on, like and you're trying to Well,
I don't know the ins and outs of the hunting industry, but I do know a lot about the music industry, and I know that they're trying to pretty much do away with independent artists because now these big record companies are buying up the distribution services like DistroKid, and so they're trying to make it harder and harder for independent artists to get out. And they're doing a really good job at it, too.
Poor Charlie.
I'm telling you. I'm glad I got in when I did back in the day.
That's my favorite artists are all independent. they're the best.
Right.
You know,
Just able to be themselves, like what we was talking about. You know, they don't have to. Because I've been on a label, and they have some. They could say, like, if I turned in an album, they could say, "No, I don't like this. You need to do something else." I never had that happen. I do know an artist that did, but so a label can control what you put out. Now they never tried to. Average Joe's, to their credit, ain't never tried to, you know, make me be anything, or they just let me do my own thing.
Do you have what's your favorite song that you ever wrote?
The next one. That's what I tell everybody.
Really?
The next one. I'm actually, I've been working on one today. My buddy Taylor Ray Holbrook, me and him got together when we was in Nashville and started writing this song. And I think it's going to be really big. But I've been finishing up my verses for it today. I got to finish recording it. Once I get it recorded, I'll send it to my producer probably tomorrow morning, and he'll have it knocked out. We're going to drop that within a couple of weeks. We're going to try to get it dropped before Inauguration Day, I think, because it's called South on You. And it's just talking about, you know, we're going to go south on things to go south for you.
Yeah. I love it. That's it's one of those things when you come with the South. Well, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, see, me and him had that same problem when we first started writing this song, because the way he sung it the first time, I'm like, bro, we can't do a song together. It sounds like a friggin' R&B song. Like, you're going to have to make this a little more rocking, because South on You sound a little weird when we singing this together to an R&B track, you know?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm looking forward to that one now, especially having a little bit of background on it.
That's funny shit right there.
Yeah, man.
It's a full-time gig though for you, as far as like writing and all that. Like it don't stop, huh?
Right. Nah, it never stops, ever. I need to get better about one of my goals for 2025 is getting better about making it a job. Because, you know, as an independent artist, and like, you just kind of it's hard to just say, okay, wake up, I got to write from, you know, 10 a.m. to 3 or 4. But that's kind of what it takes to stay sharp being a songwriter. And I haven't been very good at making myself be that way, be that disciplined. So I need to get better at that.
So do you when you're writing, like, is it just you by yourself, just sitting there and just trying to write a song, or do you work with other people when you're trying to do it?
It kind of just depends. Most of the time I'll be writing by myself, but that's something else. I just started, well, when I went to Nashville, uh, I decided that I need to start working with other people. And, you know, once I got in the room with folks and started writing, it's kind of like I should have been doing it for a while, because every time I wrote with somebody, we make some really good songs. And I feel like the creative juices just kind of flow better when you got 2 or 3 people bouncing ideas off of each other, and, you know, lines or rhymes or words or whatever it may be, ideas. And so, yeah, I'm going to start doing more with other artists. I already got, you know, me and Tyler Ray's working on that one. I don't know if y'all have heard of him or not. His name's Wes Green. He does some really, it's kind of raunchy, like wild. I mean, I like it because it's super different. TikTok loves it, but he was Demun Jones' old drummer, and I'd met him while we was on tour, and he's a really good guy. Like, I really, really liked him. And when I seen him on TikTok blowing up, I'm like, is that Wes? Like, the Wes I know that was a drummer, because I didn't even know he could sing or anything. I just knew he was a drummer. And sure enough, it was Demun's old drummer that was singing and blowing up on TikTok, and I'm like, so I reached out to him, and of course he's like, let's work together. So we got one that we're working on. It's not his style. It's country, but he's singing the chorus on it. And it's just about a country girl. I don't even remember how the lyrics go now, but it's going to be a really big one too.
Now, when you sit down and write, are you writing lyrics with beat? You plug the beat in after, or do you write the lyrics to the beat that you want to use?
That kind of depends too. It depends on what mood I'm in. If I want to write a country song, I'll pick up the guitar and write. Or if I want to write something more upbeat, I got several producers who sent me several beats, and I'll just upload it on my Pro Tool session and then just loop it and listen to it over and over and over and write to it. That way, very rarely do I write with nothing though. Like I'll have an idea. Normally I get ideas just randomly and I'll write them down on my phone. And then whenever I decide I want to write, I'll look through I got like 14 tabs called song ideas. It'll be like song idea with 2 A's, song idea with 3 A's, on down. And so, yeah, that's kind of the process.
Just sitting in the deer stand, not seeing shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, so I figured I'd stop and write this hit. That's a whole line for a hunting song right there.
I thought that's where you came up with Old Souls, was up in the deer stand.
No, Old Souls was I was sitting in my old house and I felt like I just didn't fit in anywhere I went. And I wanted to write about that. And, I asked myself, why don't you fit in? And it's because I got an old soul. Like I was raised up with the same morals, values, beliefs, principles that my grandpa was. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of people that are like that these days. So I don't think I fit in. And that's where Old Souls came from. And I just sat down and really, I mean, that song wrote itself pretty friggin' quick. Like it didn't take no time to write it.
Hands down my favorite song of yours, without question.
Same.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was definitely I don't know. My producer sent me several tracks that day, and I hadn't even listened to any of them. And then I had that Old Souls ideas come in. The first one I clicked on was that one. And I'm like, ooh, boy, Old Souls will sound good on this thing. And so it just worked out.
I'll tell you a funny story. That song's so good. My mom always asks me like, "Oh, who are you gonna have on the podcast next week?" And I always tell her, right? So I'm like, "Oh, Charlie Farley." So she asks who you are, and I tell her, and so I play her song, right? So I played old songs, and even my mom's like, "That's a really good song."
I love it, man.
Of course it is.
I freaking love it.
I know the right one to pick for mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't pick Saddle Up for his mom. He played Old Souls,
Right. He didn't play Alcoholic Day or Get It Girl or none of that. Hey, I do the same thing though, because if somebody come up to me and said, play me one of your songs, because I have so much variety of music, I look at them and instantly make a decision like what style are they going to vibe with? You know what I mean? And so I do the same thing.
I think it's funny and it's probably why you connect so well with the outdoorsmen is probably because you have that old soul like a lot of us do. Like we were all born in the wrong generation, to be honest with you. We should have been in the 70s and 80s, 60s,
Yep.
like we are those kind of people. Us as outdoorsmen, like we are in that world. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, I agree completely. Definitely. Between that and just living the same life as far as hunting and fishing, I think really connects well with the fan base because I say things in my songs and that people that actually live it know, okay, he's like, he's not just singing about this. Like
Mm-hmm.
he says things in a way that lets me know that he really living this,
100%. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like if you fake it, people know when you're faking it. And but when
Yeah.
you're real, there's a certain vibe where like that he knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people can talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. And
Right.
if you
Yeah.
know, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Charlie, we want to know one thing from you, man. We want to know what drives you outdoors. It's one of those things that we ask everybody, but I got to know what drives you.
What drives me outdoors? I think it's just because of the way I was raised. Like when I tell y'all it was from birth, like being outdoors, like I don't know any other way. Uh, when it's deer season, October the 1st, when I was a kid, we stayed at the lake at Gillum Lake for a week and a half. My grandpa did, and that turned into that's what I do now. If you follow me on socials, around the 1st of October, you'll always see me in my boat, but I got camo on because I'm bow hunting and fishing. That was ever since I was a kid, we've been doing that. And then we've had the cabin up there since I was 5 years old. My daddy he taught me everything I know about hunting. As much I told y'all he's a quadriplegic, so as much as he could. But I think it's the only way I know. Like it's the only life I know. I don't have nothing else that I like to do besides music, except for hunt and fish. It's literally is all I know. So I think to answer your question, that's what drives me outdoors. That's who I am. It's what I do. That's it.
And do your little ones follow in the same footsteps? They're all ate up in the outdoors also.
Well, my son, like I told y'all, he killed a 150, and I ain't killed one bigger than that. So he's not like he's 18 now. Uh, he does hunt, but he's not like I was at his age. But when I was his age, we didn't have bucks like that. But we was growing them at the time, and I think that's what really got me into it is because I really like that part of it. But he done killed a big one, so he's not as invested as I was at his age. My daughter absolutely loves to hunt and goes every chance she gets. As far as fishing, my son, he loves fishing. He actually had me take him to Lake Eufaula in September for his birthday. I asked him what he wanted for his birthday, and he said, "Dad, I just want to go on another fishing trip." I said, "Well, you pick the lake, and we'll go." And he sent me a map of Lake Eufaula, and I'm like, "You really want me to drive over there? Like, not the one in Oklahoma, but the one in Georgia, And he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to." So he took out of school Thursday and Friday that week, and we drove down Thursday night and fished Friday. Of course, it rained like crazy the entire time, but we had a good time. I'm gonna tell y'all what, Lake Eufaula is where it's at though. Swimming a jig in that grass is insane.
Is there a lot of big fish? They say Georgia.
Yeah, yeah. There was. I mean, I didn't catch no giants, but I caught several 3 to 5 pounders, and I felt like, that was pretty good for the time of year that we went. I mean, it was September. It ain't like it was April or something. And I was just swimming a jig in the grass and catching them. So I was pretty happy with it. Especially never being on the lake before.
Oh, yeah. Catching 3 and 4 pounders on a lake you never been in, and especially being aggressive like that. And it's the South. The South has, especially here on the East Coast, the South has some crazy fishery, man. You start getting down Virginia, South, and it is nuts. Like the fishery is insane. When I graduated high school, my goal was to fish every state on the Eastern Seaboard. So I drove from Connecticut to Florida. I got to Florida, I flew back home, and then I drove from Connecticut to Maine, and I fished every single state on the whole entire East Coast just to say I did it. And it was it was wild, man. You start getting down south, dude, it's a whole different ball game than what we're used to.
See, I've always wanted to fish Florida, but I ain't got a chance. I got a buddy that fishes down there all the time. He's Bassman Rand on TikTok. Known him for a long time, but he catches giants down there. I just ain't never got the chance to go yet. I'd love to though, because The biggest bass I've caught is a 944, and I've been on, a lot of the bigger lakes where I know they got a lot bigger fish than that. I just ain't never caught one any bigger. But I think if I got down to Florida with him, I might. Just ain't had the chance yet.
944 is no slouch of a largemouth, my friend. Like,
but my Lord, I've fished my tail off.
Yeah.
I've literally drug my boat all over the United States and got, I fished Lake Fork a million times. I feel like that's the most overrated lake in the entire country, though. When I was a kid, we went down there, and that was when they first had that kill-off back in the days in like the late 90s, and the fish got that disease or whatever. Well, we was seeing 10-pounders floating down there, but we was catching 5 to 7-pounders. Like, we probably caught 20 to 30 a day. It was just ridiculous. Now, when you go down there, you might catch fish, you might not. They still got big ones in there, but there's so much pressure. When you pull up on a hump down there in May, it's like you got one guy sitting here and there's 12 circling him, just waiting for him to leave. And as soon as he leaves, somebody else pull up on it, and then they'll circle him. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I'm James McComb, reporting live from home in my bathrobe and slippers. Tonight, we're talking Dunkin' Polar Peppermint Coffee. Gene's here with the latest. Gene, do you copy?
The home with Dunkin' is where you want to be.
This episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. Catch every moment of your team's playoff push with NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. You'll get amazing features like multi-view, and right now, it's only $49 for the rest of the NFL regular season. So give yourself the ultimate gift this holiday season. Get NFL Sunday Ticket for $49. Sign up now at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
I wonder what it is. So one of the things here that we see a ton is like boats are so readily available now. Like everybody, it's an achievable thing where they can buy a boat and go and fish on their own. Because we're on Long Island Sound. We have the Atlantic Ocean. It's super close to us. And I guided for 12 years. And like the thing is like everybody has a boat now. Like you're saying, every rock pile has a boat on it fishing all the time. And they beat up the stripers so bad. Like there's a couple of fishing areas that we fish regularly, topwater fishing for big striped bass, like 30 to 50 pounds. And like you go back there and it used to be 25 to 35 fish a trip. And now you're lucky if you catch 5 because it's just so overfished and just overhandled on. Like it's just
it's something I've been wondering about with the crappie, with all the live scope. I feel like eventually, at least in Arkansas, they're going to have to do something about the limits, or I don't know what they're going to do. But when you can take somebody who's never been fishing before and put them on a boat with the technology that's available today, and they can catch your limit and crappie in a few hours, and they ain't ever been fishing, that's pretty nuts. And, not everybody throws them back. So some people catching their limits every day, and used to, those same people might not have caught 1 or 2 fish in a year. So I feel like if they don't do something, it's going to get fished out.
It's we call it fishing
for crappie. Now there are a lot of bass fishermen. Most people don't keep bass,
But you can we call it fishing the memory out of something. And now, Charlie, we're talking in the Atlantic Ocean, like where the migration is some of the biggest thing that goes here with the striped bass. There's some areas that I fished as a kid that literally now we've fished the memory out of it. So those migrating females that come up, when we could catch fish, so it used to be 28 inches, anything over 28 inches you could keep it, right? But if you have, say, 150 guys fishing this one spot, religiously while that run is going, they'll kill every one of those spawning females that brings the migration up here. So them little ones don't even go there no more. And they're literally fishing the memory out of it. And it goes to show like the same thing with the crappie fishing. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to kill so many fish that they're literally not going to be there anymore.
Right. Fishing the memory out. I ain't never heard that. I like that. Yeah, that's how it is too. Yeah.
Because they're not going to want to go there because they've you're killing all them breeding females that
Right.
are going to hold up in a certain spot. Say that they're on this structure and this is where they're sitting, they're sitting there and that's where, pre-spawn or whatever, when I would imagine that's when they're crappie fishing. And if they're killing all them big females that go to that one spot, you're literally, we call it fishing the memory right out of them. Like they literally will not go there no more. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the technology's a scary thing, man. Like on the boat that I used to run, the Hummingbird would link to the Minn Kota, and literally I can see 150 feet off of the boat. So say my boat is in the center, I can see 150 to the left and 150 to the right. I tap on the screen and I say go to, and the troll motor literally bring me right over to that spot, and I'll be right on top of the fish every single time.
Yeah, technology is crazy, and a lot of these tournament like MLF and Bass and all them, they're trying to implement rules to try to, I think, not necessarily tone it back down, but try to keep it from getting even crazier. Because now, if you know how to work electronics, you're automatically a better fisherman than the guy that's been out there 30 years. And in the fishing industry, that's probably not a good thing. Because a lot of these guys, the older guys, have been out there on tour, touring around for years, and now they're getting stumped by people that just showed up. So I think some of the tournament trails are trying to figure out a way to make everybody happy. I've seen a lot of them making different rules, and of course, you're going to have everybody griping about everything all the time anyway, especially on social media. So ain't nobody happy with anything that's being done. But technology is just going to keep getting better, so I don't know what's going to be done.
They got to make some type of basic rule for everybody because they got to make it an equal playing field.
And technology is so expensive. That's the thing I think about. So if you have a kid that can't afford it, and then you have a kid that can, the kid with the money is going to win every time. Because you can't compete, at least not early in the year, because with the live scope and active target and all that, when they're suspended, if you ain't got that, you're gonna get whooped in a tournament. This is all there is to it.
Oh, absolutely, no, 100%, but that doesn't make you a better fisherman because you have good technology,
right?
That don't make you. That don't make you a better fisherman because you know where the fish are at because of your electronics. It's not like the good old boys, like probably your dad and my old man, when they would fish tournaments, like they knew that rock pile was right there because they had fished it 150 times, and them fish are holding up there. Like guys like us, we come in with electronics, and I can see it from 3/4 of a mile away. That don't make me a good fisherman. That don't make me a good fisherman.
Right. Yeah. And them boys is online swearing that what you said's wrong too. You're just an old head. You just,
that old boy.
It's like, no, man. I was learning how to catch fish based on watercolor when I was a kid. Like you staring at a TV screen like you just left the house on the PlayStation.
The little ripples on the water. I mean, like we get this transpires into hunting too because there's a lot of people, and probably yourself too, Charlie. We say this all the time. When we was growing up, it was trail timers. It was just good woodsmanship. And now these dudes are on, almost instant pictures back to your cell phone. Like, does that make you a better hunter? No, like take them things away. I want to see you kill a 130 without your cameras. You know what I'm saying? Only guys like us that have been doing it our whole lives that understand woodsmanship and the way that a buck works and so on and so forth.
What it all comes down to is people want instant gratification. They don't want to put in the true hard work and dedication that it takes and truly learn things. And if you can just go out and buy some shit that makes you a better hunter overnight, I'll sell cameras too. I mean, if they're going to help you, but I mean, at some point, it's like you're like you said before, you're just spending the money to buy the shit that makes you better. rather than putting in the hard work that actually makes you better at whatever you
Right.
do.
Yeah,
I agree completely.
It's absolutely insane. That's what the world has now come to.
That's the industry in a nutshell.
Technology. Yeah, literally.
Charlie,
in every aspect.
Yep. Oh, 100%. 100%. 100%. Charlie, we really appreciate you jumping on with us, man. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, kind of follow along. If you got some new stuff coming out, they can go and check it out. Just let the listeners know.
Absolutely. CharlieFarleyLife.com is the website. On Facebook, it's Charlie Farley Music. Instagram's the same. TikTok is the real Charlie Farley. I think that's about it. I definitely have new music coming. I always have new music coming. There ain't very many months where I don't put something out. So be sure and stay up to date. The best way to keep up with me is on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. And then I try to keep everybody updated with everything I got going on there. But the website, like I said, is CharlieFarleyLife.com.
All right, Charlie. We appreciate it, man.
Go sign up for that giveaway.
Yeah, you got to get on that raffle.
You can go to the website and get in that raffle and have a chance to win a boat or 10K.
Yeah.
Hey, so what that's going to do, somebody's out there spending all this Christmas money right now. Somebody's going to get reimbursed is what's going to happen.
They're going to be able to go hunt somewhere real nice if they win that one. Come on now.
Yeah, if they want to.
Yeah.
My whole family's about to get Charlie Farley hats for Christmas.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're going on the order right now. Here we go.
I appreciate y'all having me on too, man. I could probably send y'all a hat.
We're gonna buy it. Don't you worry, Charlie. We need to get in on this giveaway, and if we do, we're all going hunting somewhere. Is what I'm trying to say.
Hey, I'm down with that for sure.
Charlie, it's been a blessing, man. We can't thank you enough for taking the time and with everything that you do. Thanks a lot for jumping on and coming back after a little bit of craziness in the deer woods. Hopefully,
hey, thank y'all for having me back. I felt terrible about that, so I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, and hopefully you can get a little bit of luck of the podcast. Get out there and bow hunt before the season's over. And for everybody else, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.